Hello and welcome to your practice. Today our posture is going to be revolved chair or Parivrita Utkatasana. So you might want a block handy for this just to add stability and to help you to keep your alignment, but if you don't have one, that's okay too. Begin in mountain posture with your hands together right in front of your chest and just take a deep breath in. And we'll start with some forward-facing chair before we add the twists, just to get the legs and the feet really warmed up. So let's circle sweep the arms up and overhead, and then slowly begin to lower down into an imaginary chair position. Reach up, and then lower down into that imaginary chair. As you do this, keep flowing, and make sure that your knees don't go out past your toes, but rather sit back enough that you can see your toes if you look down. Reach up and lower. This time we'll pause here and just really feel the strength. Spread your toes. Feel the weight pressing into all the edges of your feet. And then when you're ready, reach up to extended mountain again and bring the hands back to the center of your chest and just take a breath. We're going to now add a little twist with this. So, right from where you are, reach all the way up. And let's start by twisting to the right, bringing your right hand behind your back and your left hand over across to the outside of your thigh or the outside of your knee. And then press back up to standing. And switch sides. And press back up. And now this time when you twist, look down at your knees and just notice if possibly your left knee is shooting really far forward. And if it is, try to pull it back. Reach up. Twist the other way. And check and make sure that your right knee isn't pushing out in front. We want to keep the knees fairly parallel and the hips fairly squared to the front of the mat. Reach up and just release into your mountain. We're going to do that same exact flow that we just did, but we'll add a block, if you've got one, right between the thighs. So you want to position your block just above your knees rather than between your knees. You don't really want to be gripping it with the bony area of your knee joint, but rather that meaty area of your inner thighs just above. And this will add a lot of stability. Reach up and twist to the right as you sit, bringing one hand across, your right hand behind your back. And then reach up again and twist the other way. And we'll keep going for 2 more on each side. One more per side. And then reach up to extended mountain and return to your regular mountain posture. And just take a breath. Now, keep in mind that you can stay with that option. If you felt that was really challenging, or maybe you started to feel it creep into your knees, or you felt discomfort in your hips, then that's probably as far as you should take your revolved chair. And I always teach that variation anytime I'm teaching a class and we're going to go deeper so that people that need it can stay right there. So remember, you can come down and twist. This allows you to keep your joints stacked, which is more stable than what I'm about to show. And it allows you to keep your chest higher instead of needing to get so low. So this is a really great option. Just travel right into that if you felt pretty maxed out there. If you want to explore or try a deeper option, a little bit more intense, then you're going to bring your big toes together and really squeeze the inner thighs together so that you feel stable. And we're also going to position the block on its high setting, or even stack 2 blocks on top of each other over to the right. We'll reach the arms up, bring the hands down to the chest as you lower into a little bit deeper of a chair squat. And then we'll twist. Now you're in this prayer twisting chair, and the same idea remains, that we want to keep the hips squared instead of jutting one knee out in front. So here we are, trying to bring the hands towards the center of the chest, trying to lower the hips almost to the same height as the knees. And then if this is feeling good, you can bring your hand down to your block and reach up with your opposite hand. Maybe your block needs to be on a lower setting. Feel it out for your own body. We'll take 2 more breaths. Then we'll bring the hands back together. A little balance challenge as you face forward again and slowly press up. That should have really fired up your legs. So take a little moment, space your feet back out, and just take a little pedal. Rolling up onto the ball of one foot and then the other. One more of each. And then we'll come back. Bring the feet together, big toes together, or maybe you're squeezing that block between your inner thighs instead. We'll position the block over on the other side so it's ready for us should we choose to use it. Reach all the way up and slowly begin to lower down into your chair. And maybe you want to kind of explore a merging of both options I've shown, where you try squeezing the legs together, the big toes together, but you still want to stay more upright through your spine and your torso. In that case, you can just bring your left hand behind your back and send your right hand across. You're still going to get a ton of work from here. I can feel a little shaking. If you'd like to go deeper, come down, come into that prayer twisting option. Take a few breaths. And then maybe open up the arms using the block if you find it useful. Two more breaths. Bring your hands back together, face forward, and slowly rise up. Hopefully you've got a nice little shake going on with your legs. Take the feet back out apart and just pedal it out again. From here, we're just going to do a little leg stretch. So, come to the top of your mat. Slowly reach all the way up. And then come down into your chair pose once more. Lowering down and then hinging forward from your hips. Allow your hands to rest on the floor or on some blocks. Take a breath. And then slowly lift your hips up slightly as you come into a forward bend. We'll just take a few breaths here in our standing forward fold. Then, when you feel ready, bring one shin to the floor and then the other. Take a breath here. Maybe even flow through a cat and a cow. One more. And then we'll come back to tabletop. We'll swing the legs out and around. And we will get ready to come down onto our backs. So hold on right behind one leg and use that leg as a lever as you slowly roll down. And then just hug that knee into your chest. Let your other leg stretch all the way out. Or if you need some added back support, you can bend that knee and put your foot on the floor. If this over shin grip feels like too much, just hold on behind your knee. That works too. We'll point and flex the foot here. And then circle the ankle a few times in one direction. And circle it the other way. Take one more breath. And then switch sides. Pointing and flexing this foot. Circling the ankle. And circling it the other way. Taking one more breath. And then drawing both knees into the chest. Before we end our practice today, I'm just going to show you one more little bonus bit of oblique work that we're really ready for after doing the revolved chair. So we'll use this warmed up body that we've already prepared to get some nice core work. Begin by bringing your hands to the floor just outside of your mat and bring your legs up to a tabletop position. So you've got nice 90-degree bend in the knees. Allow your shoulders to rest heavily back and down. And then just tip your knees about halfway over towards the floor while trying to keep your shoulders resting on the ground. Come back to center and switch. Back to center and switch. And just do a few more of those. When you're feeling complete, bring your knees into your chest and take a breath. And we'll end with a nice lying spine twist. So roll yourself completely over onto one side, stacking your shoulders and your hips, and bringing your hands together like you're clapping out in front. Then reach your top arm all the way up and back behind you. And then bring the hands back together. We'll do that 2 more times on this side. So it's kind of like a side lying revolved chair, the position that we're in. Let's hold in it this time, really shuffling the shoulders back and down, maybe even letting your hand rest on your top leg. And then we'll come back to where we started and roll completely over to the other side. Making sure your hips are stacked and your shoulders are stacked. And breathe in to open your top arm up and back. And breathe out as you return. Breathe in, open up. And breathe out to return. And this one will open all the way up and stay. So since we're going to stay for a little longer, you might want to slide your inside shoulder over a little in order to help both shoulders draw down towards the earth. We're moving closer to that positioning where our hips and our shoulders are perpendicular. Your top hand can rest on the top thigh for a little added stability. And if you're finding this to be really a little deeper than you want it to be, you can use that same technique that we did in the chair, which is to put your block right between your thighs. And that will help quite a lot. You could also use a bolster or a pillow. Nice easy breaths in this final twist. And when you're ready, come back to your side lying position to release. And then gently make your way up to a seated position. And that concludes our revolved chair and some extra bonus postures that are really related to our posture for today. And you can feel free to continue your practice from here or simply give your body some gratitude for the work you've already done. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.